We've been walking through the book of Genesis for pretty much since the beginning of the year. So today we're in chapter 31, and I've entitled this message, Divine Transition, when God says you can't stay. Divine transition. Most of us have a smoke alarm in our home. And there are times when that smoke alarm will go off and make a sound. And when that smoke alarm makes a sound, it's usually to alert us that something is wrong or something needs to be addressed. And sometimes whatever it is that needs to be addressed is probably a very simple fix. Probably you just need to change the battery, right? And so when the smoke alarm goes off and makes that sound that you probably just need to change the battery, usually that sound is very annoying, right? It's a very annoying sound. In fact, it's designed to be a sound that is impossible to ignore, right? So it's this constant, steady beep that you hear almost every 30 seconds, right? Beep. Beep, 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 right? This steady, constant, annoying noise that you hear every 30 seconds is meant to warn you that the system intended to protect you from a hidden danger is failing, and you need to do something to address it before something destructive happens. But then what do we do when we actually hear that sound? When we hear that sound going off? Sometimes we don't respond to it the way we should, right? Sometimes when we hear that sound, we're too busy and we allow days to go by before we address it. And then as days go by, what eventually happens is you start getting adjusted to it, right? That noise that is intended to be annoying, you learn how to drown it out. You learn to live with it. You learn to even sleep through it, because some of us can even sleep through it, right? And then what's worse, some of us even disconnect that alarm. We take the broom, we just knock it down, or we just even disconnect the entire alarm. And so instead of fixing what's wrong, we disconnect from the alarm, which leaves us completely vulnerable. And we do everything but to address the actual problem. Every single one of us has an internal smoke alarm, an internal spiritual tension we feel when God is trying to get our attention, right? When we are settling in a place where we are not meant to stay. And so it's this constant, agonizing restlessness in our spirit that shows up when we are settling in a job, in a relationship, an environment, and something in us knows that this is not it. The internal wrestle you're feeling may be a signal that you are about to go through a major transition. A major transition where God is about to redirect your life, to move you out from where you are and realign you to where you need to be, to walk in His calling and purpose. And this is what Genesis chapter 31 is about. Jacob is about to experience a divine redirection. And so for context, Jacob has been running away for almost all of his life. Ever since Jacob stole his brother's blessing, right? Jacob has been running for his life. He's been running from a brother who wanted to kill him, right? In Genesis 29, Jacob runs away to hide in his uncle's house, Uncle Laban's house. And then by the time we get to Genesis chapter 31, we find out that Jacob has been hiding there for about 20 years. 20 years, Jacob has been running away and hiding. And so for 20 years, Jacob has settled there. He settled there, he built a life, he built a large family, He even became very successful. But the entire time, he was not in alignment with his calling. He was settling somewhere he wasn't meant to stay. This was only meant to be a temporary refuge. In the background, the signals were going off. And now those signals are getting louder and becoming impossible to ignore. So in 31, we're going to see how God sometimes will disrupt. I want you to listen. God will sometimes disrupt and disturb your comfort to make you uncomfortable in places that you're not meant to stay.